Darth, Theorist, rise. What if the Jedi Council cared about Anakin's mental health? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The council chamber is quiet. Sunlight filters through the tall windows of Coruscant, casting golden halos on 12 seats that have judged the galaxy for centuries. But today, for the first time, they hesitate. Anakin Skywalker stands at the center, 19, restless, brilliant, and burning from the inside out. His emotions pulse through the Force like waves in a storm. Normally, that would earn him a lecture. Today, it earns him silence. Mace Windu studies him, not as a soldier, but as a soul. He sees the exhaustion behind Anakin's defiance, the shadow of sleepless nights, the unspoken grief of a boy forced to be a general.
Clouded your mind is. Pain, I sense. Speak of it, you must.
I can't sleep, Master. The war, the screams, they don't stop. I keep seeing people die, and when I close my eyes, I see my mother. No one mocks him, no one warns him about attachment. Instead, Plo Koon leans forward, his voice calm, almost fatherly.
You carry too much alone, young one. The Force blinds us all, even in grief.
You're not weak for feeling pain, Skywalker, but you will be consumed by it if you face it alone. For the first time, Anakin feels seen, not as a weapon, not as the chosen one, but as a person.
Help him, we must. Heal him before darkness grows.
And so begins a new chapter in the Order's history. Instead of reprimand, Anakin is assigned to the Temple of Reflection, a rarely used sanctuary where the Jedi confront their fears under the guidance of mind healers and mentors. As he enters the temple, the silence feels strange, softer than the battlefield, gentler than the Council's judgment. A calm, graceful figure awaits him, Master Shakti, her presence steady as still water.
War changes the mind, Anakin. But the mind, too, can find balance again.
He doesn't realize it yet, but this simple act of compassion will change the fate of the galaxy. Days pass, then weeks. Inside the Temple of Reflection, Anakin's sessions are grueling. Not physical, emotional. He relives the Tusken camp, the rage, the helplessness, the loss of his mother. Each memory tears through him, raw and unfiltered. But this time he's not alone.
Your fear isn't the enemy, Anakin. Your silence is.
Every time I feel something, the Council tells me to let go, to forget. How can I forget my mother? How can I stop being afraid?
By understanding it, you give it a name. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of becoming what you hate. Once you name it, it loses power.
Anakin closes his eyes and feels the Force swirl differently. Not the chaotic storm he's used to, but a current, gentle and steady. For the first time in years, he feels peace. Across the city, Obi-Wan watches from the Council balcony. The Anakin he knew was unpredictable, brilliant one moment, reckless the next. But now, there's something quieter about him, something lighter.
Change him, this path does. Helpful it may be, if guided with wisdom.
You believe this will help him find balance?
If balance within he finds, balance for the galaxy, perhaps, too.
Later that night, Anakin meditates alone. He reaches into the Force and feels something different. Not the pull of anger, not the whisper of the dark, just stillness. Then a presence brushes against his mind. Familiar, cold, watching.
Anakin, you've been avoiding me lately. Is everything all right?
I'm fine, sir. The Jedi are helping me understand a few things.
Of course they are. Just remember, my boy, not every wound can be healed by meditation.
The transmission cuts. Anakin exhales slowly. For once, the words don't stick to his soul. The Chancellor's voice no longer feels like safety. It feels like temptation. He rises, walks to the window, and looks over Coruscant's skyline. The future is still uncertain. War still rages. Prophecy still hangs. But now, for the first time, the Chosen One isn't walking towards the dark alone. The Jedi Council chamber hasn't changed much. Same circle of seats, same panoramic view of the endless cityscape, same slow ceremonial gravity. But the ghosts here are different now. Not only the ghosts of masters who will fall, there are shadows of a different kind. The mask, the screams, the years of silence that could swallow one boy whole. The Council looks smaller when it imagines that future, and larger when it imagines preventing it.
Unusual this path is. Careful we must be.
We have trained soldiers. We have trained diplomats. We have not trained enough healers. Not when battle leaves the mind torn as much as the body. The Order trains Jedi to let go. Attachment made Sith of the past. Discipline saved lives. Do we now exchange discipline for indulgence?
An uneasy silence stretches. Every master here remembers wars where sentiment became weakness. Every master hides a private scar.
There is a difference between indulgence and care. The old teachings did not stop anguish. It hid it. It left wounds to fester, where the dark side could find purchase.
Anakin is bright. Reckless, yes, but bright. If we can teach him to carry rather than bury, might he not become stronger? Not in spite of his emotion, but because of it.
The room hums. That word, carry, feels foreign in a space built to discard.
And when emotion overpowers reason? When compassion clouds duty?
Then guidance is the answer, not suppression. Denied feeling grows in shadow. Guided feeling learns its place in the light.
The code was written for order. Alter it too freely, and the foundation cracks. Or it grows. Every living thing adapts, Master Windu. The code must breathe, or it dies.
Murmurs ripple through the circle. The debate is alive now. Conviction and caution colliding like sabers under the high dome. Then the door opens. Anakin stands in the center of the chamber, shoulders tight as if still braced for judgment. He doesn't plead, he doesn't promise reform, he only repeats what he's learned in the Temple of Reflection.
I am tired of pretending I feel nothing. That pretending makes it worse. It eats at me. It makes the Force ugly. I want help. I want to learn how to hold it without breaking. We cannot reshape doctrine on the petitions of one mind.
Not one mind, one life that, if healed, can teach many. The Order survives by learning, not merely repeating.
A precedent that may unmake us.
Or save us from blindness. The Council must act with unity, not sentiment.
The chamber fills with overlapping voices. Reason, fear, compassion, defiance, until at last a soft tapping on stone silences them.
Heard enough. I have. Fear we sense. Attachment it may become, but fear named it can be. Fear faced it may be tempered. Help him we shall. Learn the Order must, or fall it will.
The room falls still. None argue. Yoda's word is final. A compromise forms, a measured path forward. The Temple of Reflection becomes official, not exile but sanctuary. Anakin will remain within the Order, guided through mentored healing, trauma work, and missions that pair emotional training with field responsibility. Masters will be assigned as guardians, not jailers. As the Council disperses, Anakin walks out different than when he walked in. He is not cured, he may never be, but he is seen. The Order is no longer merely a tribunal. It has, at least for a moment, become a room that listens. Outside, in the gardens, Qui-Gon's old students speak in quiet tones. Obi-Wan catches Anakin's eye and nods, a small reassurance, a human acknowledgement that will matter more than doctrine in the long weeks ahead. Then somewhere in the Senate, far from Yoda's stick and Mace's steely gaze, a figure notices cracks forming in the old strategy.
Interesting.
Before they leave for Geonosis, Anakin pulls Obi-Wan aside.
When we land, tempers will be sharp. The Separatists will pry at fear. They test what they think looks like weakness.
You speak like a man who's already been tested.
I have. I will not pretend I haven't. But I'm learning to stand in the middle of it, instead of running from it.
Obi-Wan studies him, trying to read the change the Temple had built into his old student. There's steadiness now, fragile but real, grafted onto the same fierce will that once made him unpredictable.
Then stay close. We'll watch each other's backs.
Their gunship cuts through the void and descends into the orange haze of Geonosis, a world that has already burned once under Republic guns. Now it burns again. Droids pour from the hives like mechanical insects. Blaster fire paints the canyons blue and red. The ground trembles with the thrum of factories hidden deep beneath the crust. Their mission is clear. Rescue trapped engineers and shut down a droid foundry beneath the Pentranaki Arena, one of the last operating on the planet. It sounds simple in name, but brutal in execution. Obi-Wan and Anakin lead their troops through collapsing tunnels, cutting down swarms of battle droids as smoke thickens the air. And then she appears, Asajj Ventress, the shadow apprentice of Count Dooku, her twin red blades igniting like venomous fangs in the dark.
Skywalker. I've been looking forward to testing the Council's new favorite experiment.
Anakin feels the taunt hit old nerves, the pride, the challenge, the hunger to prove himself. But the training in the Temple of Reflection whispers louder. He breathes, centers, names the feeling. Anger, fear of failure, need for control. He lets the feelings exist, but not command him.
Then you'll find I fight differently now.
The clash is fast, brutal. Sparks shower the cavern walls. Ventress moves like a dancer of death, every strike meant to provoke rage, to draw fire from the boy she once knew as impulsive. But the man before her no longer burns the same way. Anakin fights with precision, not fury. His strikes are clean, his footwork measured. Each deflection feels deliberate, balanced. When Ventress twists to exploit emotion, she finds none she can feed on. Above them, Shakti coordinates the clone medics and wounded engineers, her voice calm, cutting through the chaos.
Hold the line. Focus your breath. The Force flows through calm minds, not panicked ones.
Her meditative tone steadies frightened soldiers and tempers the frantic rhythm of war. Obi-Wan duels two Magna Guards nearby, his movements defensive, protective, not reckless. Between him and Anakin, a new rhythm emerges, discipline guided by empathy, mastery shaped by mindfulness. Ventress hisses as Anakin's blade traps hers in a lock. She twists, expecting fury. Instead, he releases, redirects, and disarms her with the serenity of a monk. Her lightsaber clatters to the ground, their crimson glow fading.
I don't need to destroy you.
Then you've already lost.
No. I've learned that control isn't surrender. It's a choice.
She spits the words like venom, but they slide off him. Her hate finds no foothold. As the last droid falls and the echo of blasters fade, silence spreads. Not the hollow quiet of aftermath, but the living stillness of relief. Shakti kneels among the wounded, using the Force to soothe pain, her aura radiating calm. The surviving engineers, once trembling, breathe easier around her.
You both did well. Not through victory, but through restraint.
Obi-Wan glances at Anakin, pride flickering behind his wary smile.
He's learning faster than any of us expected.
I'm trying. It's easier when I remember what it cost me not to.
They leave Geonosis not as victors, but as witnesses to what strength looks like when guided by healing instead of hate. Back on Coruscant, the Council reviews the mission reports. The holofeed shows Anakin subduing Ventress, calm where fury once ruled. Masters who once whispered about his volatility now watch in thoughtful silence.
He did not break. He did not snap the way I feared he would.
Healing and discipline are not opposites, Master Windu. They complete one another.
Strong he grows, not through denial, but understanding. The Force clearer in him, I sense.
For the first time, the Council allows itself a fragile hope that the Chosen One might truly bring balance, not by rejecting feeling, but by mastering it. And far away, in the shadows of the Senate, Palpatine watches the same holo-recording. The footage freezes on Anakin's calm expression as he spares Ventress.
Very good. Very instructive.
He smiles, not in defeat, but in calculation. For every piece Anakin finds, Palpatine will find a new way to test it. The heroes return to Coruscant in triumph. Geonosis is secure. The Republic hails its Jedi as saviors. But in the Senate's shadowed chambers, a single man watches the celebration with quiet amusement. Chancellor Palpatine smiles, the kind that never reaches his eyes. He watches Anakin's image flicker on the holoscreens, his lightsaber raised not in anger, but in calm victory. Compassion, Palpatine muses. They're teaching him compassion. The idea intrigues him. It is always the Jedi's rigidity that made Anakin vulnerable. Their blind devotion to control. But now they were changing. Slowly. Dangerously. He leans back in his chair as Masabata briefs him on reconstruction efforts. Palpatine barely listens. His mind is elsewhere, on Skywalker.
The boy is learning too quickly, and not the way I planned.
Meanwhile, inside the temple, Anakin kneels in meditation beside Master Shakti. His breathing is steady, his aura calmer than it's ever been. Yet somewhere in the Force, a storm whispers his name.
You feel it, don't you?
Something's shifting. Like the Force is holding its breath.
Yoda enters quietly, leaning on his stick.
Change it brings. Disturbance also. The future clouded remains. Though hope there is.
Outside, the galaxy spins as politics begin to shift. Palpatine calls emergency sessions, citing instability in the Outer Rim. He praises the Jedi publicly, but every compliment is a leash, every decree another tightening thread around their necks. He invites Anakin to his office, not with manipulation, but curiosity.
You've changed, my boy. There's a peace in you now. I can sense it. The war hasn't hardened you. It's refined you.
The Jedi are helping me see things differently. Pain doesn't have to control me anymore.
And yet, you still feel it. The weight of it all. You can't simply breathe away the darkness. Not forever.
For a heartbeat, Anakin almost answers, but then he remembers Shak Ti's words.
Your silence is not peace, and your pain is not sin.
He bows lightly.
Thank you, Chancellor. But I'm learning how to carry it.
When he leaves, Palpatine's expression finally hardens.
Then I'll just have to remind him what it feels like to break.
That night inside the temple, Obi-Wan and Yoda speak in low tones.
He's growing stronger, but something stirs in the Republic. There's tension, a tightening I can't explain.
Know it, I do. Change the boy's heart we can, but change the galaxy. Perilous that task is.
They look out over the endless city lights, unaware that in the Senate Tower, the first whispers of a new bill circulate, one that grants the Chancellor temporary powers of command. Although Anakin's soul begins to heal, the Republic itself starts to fracture. Rain lashes Coruscant's night as Anakin, Skywalker, and Captain Rex touch down beside a foggy warehouse.
Fives!
General Skywalker, Captain Rex, I knew you'd come. They killed Tup. The Kaminoans lied.
There are chips in every clone's head.
I'm glad to see you're all right, Fives.
Fives, what's happened? What chips?
On Kamino, Tup, Nalasay said it was a virus, but with AZ-3's help, I found he'd been implanted with a control chip. I dug it out, and Tup died in my arms from it. But before he died, he said the clones were on a mission, orders he couldn't question.
He pauses, torn by grief and fury. Rex and Anakin exchange a glance. Fives' eyes burn with desperation.
I escaped Kamino with AZ-3. We found every embryo had one, but Palpatine, he shut it all down. They're trying to make me out to be crazy, but the Chancellor himself is in on it. He's burying the truth.
Palpatine? You think he's behind the chips?
I don't know for sure. Maybe it was Dooku. But when the chips were discovered, the Kaminoans panicked. I tried to warn you. The Senate and the Jedi. They called me a traitor.
I believe you, Fives. We'll look into everything you're saying. But we need to leave, now. Fox is probably on his way back with reinforcements.
Yes. Take me to the Jedi. They have to hear this.
Anakin nods, and Rex offers Fives an arm. Together, the three exit the warehouse into the storm. Seated in his office, Chancellor Palpatine rubs his chin, sensing a disturbance in the Force. A disturbance in his plan. Fives was nowhere to be found, and Anakin didn't report anything to him. Something is amiss, and contingency plans must be made. He turns on his holodisc and reaches out to his apprentice.
Yes, my master.
Lord Tyrannus, I sense deception is at hand. The incident with the inhibitor chips is proving inconvenient. We must accelerate our plans.
What do you suggest, master?
Palpatine lets out an evil grin as he thinks of how to get around this problem. The elimination of Clone Trooper Fives and the Jedi as a whole. The next morning, the Great Chamber of the Jedi Council is tense. Yoda sits cross-legged, eyes closed in meditation. Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, and other masters encircle them. Anakin stands at the center with Fives and Captain Rex. Fives stands before them, exhausted but resolute. Senators watch wide-eyed from the back of the room. Fives clears his throat. The council listens intently.
Tell us everything, Fives. Quick, you must be.
Master Yoda. Masters. Sir, ma'am. I'm a soldier in the 501st, sir. But I'm not just here as a soldier. Kaminoans, Namasu, Nalasay, they've been inserting inhibitor chips in all clones. I saw it. This one.
He holds out the dark, spiky chip fragment. Plo Koon, standing at the side, leans forward to inspect it. Shak Ti's face reflects deep concern. Even Ki-Adi-Mundi clutches his chest in alarm. Mace Windu carefully takes the chip with a gloved hand.
This technology... I've never seen such an implant.
Darkness in his chip, I sense.
They call it a tumor. I told AZ-3 to scan Tup. They didn't want us to know. When we saw the embryo labs, every clone had a chip. When we tried to tell the Kaminoans, they wanted to destroy me for being an aberrant mutant. General Shak Ti forced them to come to Palpatine. But when we got here, Chancellor Palpatine had already arranged to bury it and brand me as crazy.
Master Yoda. Masters. This explains why Tup turned on Master Tiplar. If these chips exist, then this order must have been triggered by accident. If it's even possible to be enacted on a large scale, from every clone, the order is a danger.
If this is true, the Senate must know. Palpatine. He's the only one who could have such power.
Set in motion by Sith, the manipulation of the clone army was. Talk with him, we must. Skywalker, have confidence in this clone, do you?
Anakin glances at Fives, honorably standing in front of the council, and nods.
I trust him with my life. He has no reason to lie.
Send for Chancellor Palpatine. We will confront him here on Coruscant, in the Senate, or the Temple, and have answers. Fives, you will accompany us to provide testimony. Fives exhales, scarcely believing it. Rex gently grips his shoulder as the council arranges a guard of Jedi to escort the small party. The first senatorial deputy is ordered to suspend Parliament for a private meeting with the council. In the Grand Senate Hall, Palpatine sits in the Chancellor's podium, flanked by Masamada and other allies. The chamber buzzes with the news that Obi-Wan, Yoda, Mace, Anakin, Rex, and Fives have summoned Palpatine to answer charges. Palpatine rises as the Jedi enter. He manages an ingratiating smile. Yoda rises from his chair across from Palpatine.
Chancellor Palpatine, you've been asked here to answer serious allegations. ARC Trooper 5's claims the Kaminoan cloning facilities deliberately implanted control chips in clones. We have evidence before us. Can you deny this?
This is preposterous. A baseless accusation. Likely separatist propaganda. The Chancellor's office has no knowledge of any such chips. I swear it before the Senate. You have no proof. We have the chip itself. It was removed from a Republic trooper's brain. Fives and the medical droid AZ-3 witnessed it with their own eyes.
Fives holds up the chip fragment again. Senators lean in to glimpse it. Palpatine's confidence wavers.
Even if such a chip existed, what guarantee is it that you are not being misled? Senator Amidala and others, tell me, do we know how many of your threats might be enemies in disguise?
The Jedi Council believes its own members. We have no stake in this but the truth. Fives has been unwavering.
Palpatine's grin widens. The time has come. Above the Senate Dome, Republic warships descend through the clouds, their massive hulls blotting out the morning light. The city trembles as alarms shriek across Coruscant. Red lights flare through the rotunda. The unthinkable has happened. Invasion. Senators shout and scatter in panic, their voices drowned out by the thunder of engines and the distant echo of explosions. Clone troopers rush to form protective lines, blasters drawn, ushering civilians toward the lower corridors. Shak Ti moves with calm precision amid the chaos, her voice cutting through the confusion.
Secure the east corridor. Move them to the safe house beneath the temple district. Now!
But while Order struggles to rise from the panic, 3 Jedi remain still. Yoda, Mace, and Anakin stand at the chamber's center, their eyes fixed on the Chancellor's podium. The realization strikes like a blade. This was no coincidence. Palpatine turns to face them, the crimson of energy light painting his features into something almost demonic. His grin stretches into something cruel, something satisfied.
What seems to be the problem, Master Jedi? Shouldn't you be preparing response to this invasion?
Mace Windu, Plo Koon, Yoda, Anakin, and Obi-Wan ignite their lightsabers, 5 blades flaring in unison, filling the Senate Rotunda with the glow of every color of the Force that can be weld. Blue, green, violet. The hum becomes a symphony of defiance. They know what they must do. Then, the glass explodes. Shards rain down like burning stars as the sky fills with fire. Droids repel from above, and 2 shadows descend through the smoke, Count Dooku and General Grievous. Palpatine stands between them, hands clasped behind his back, his smirk carved from triumph.
Gentlemen, shall we begin?
Then the world erupts. Grievous lands with the force of a crashing tank, sabers igniting one by one. 4 blades swirl into a blur of death. Obi-Wan charges forward, blue blade flashing in clean, precise arcs. Sparks explode where they meet, Grievous's roar of rage echoing through the chamber. Anakin's blade ignites beside him, joining his former master. They move as one, the teacher and student circling the cyborg like twin storms. Grievous counters with a whirlwind of sabers, metal grinding, but every spin, every lunge is met and parried. He ducks, Anakin vaults, a force-assisted leap that sends him above the spinning sabers. His blade cuts clean through Grievous's midsection. The general's scream is mechanical, shrill, and dying. The explosion that follows paints the chamber gold, but there's no time to breathe. Dooku descends the Senate steps, cloak billowing, crimson blade in hand. His gaze finds Anakin's instantly.
You've grown stronger, but still predictable.
Their blades clash, red and blue, with the weight of history behind them. Dooku's precision meets Anakin's raw, controlled fury. Sparks arc in every direction as they trade strike for strike, the sound of the sabers like thunder cracking stone. Across the hall, Yoda and Plo Koon are swarmed by droids, waves of mechanical soldiers pouring through the shattered skylight. Yoda moves like a green comet, his small frame vanishing and reappearing in bursts of motion. Plo Koon extends his hand, the force snapping like a whip, entire battalions lifted and hurled into the chamber walls. The shockwave shatters the marble floor, sending pieces of Senate seats cascading below. And in the center of it all, Mace Windu and Palpatine meet. Palpatine's crimson blade ignites, his smile twisting into a snarl.
This is the end of the Jedi.
The Sith will never return, Sidious, and I'll see to it that they don't.
Their duel begins like lightning, fast, brutal, unrelenting. Every strike shakes the rotunda. Mace's Vapad form turns Sidious's hatred against him, channeling the darkness without succumbing to it. Their sabers flash in violent rhythm, cutting through the air with impossible precision. Sidious strikes low, Mace parries high. Sparks rain around them as their blades scrape across the Senate floor. Palpatine lashes out with Force lightning, a torrent of raw power that lights the room like a storm. Mace meets it with his saber, reflecting it back in a shower of energy that burns the Chancellor's robes. Anakin's duel with Dooku crashes into theirs, blue and red clashing beside purple and crimson, a chaos of color and sound. Dooku tries to flank Mace, but Anakin intercepts, parrying the Count's attack in a blur of movement and slicing his head clean off his torso. Yoda leaps into the fray, taking on Grievous with Obi-Wan, his saber intercepting a killing strike, and crushing the cyborg general's heart cavity with the Force. The Force ripples outward as the 5 Jedi fall into rhythm, light bending in their favor. Palpatine snarls, retreating toward his podium, lightning flashing from their fingertips. Mace deflects one bolt, Plo absorbs another with his gauntlet, and Yoda redirects the final surge skyward, cracking the glass ceiling completely. Rain begins to pour through, mixed with the fire.
You think you can stop what's already in motion? My empire is inevitable.
Empires fall. Balance doesn't.
He charges, his blade a streak of blue light, every motion precise, measured, calm. He's not the reckless knight he once was. He's the chosen one, and the Force moves with him. Palpatine's grin falters as Anakin meets him blow for blow. Sparks cascade as their sabers lock. With a burst of Force energy, he disarms Palpatine, the crimson blade clattering to the floor. Mace and Yoda join beside him, sabers raised. Palpatine's eyes glow yellow, lightning surging from his hands in desperation. The Masters stand united, Yoda catching the current, Mace reflecting it, Anakin channeling it through his blade. The storm collapses in on itself. Palpatine screams as the energy consumes him, light devouring dark, the Force roaring like a tidal wave. The explosion that follows rips through the rotunda, shattering what remains of the ceiling. Rain pours in, dousing the smoke. When it clears, the Emperor is gone. Only his scorched robes remain. Yoda lowers his lightsaber. His breath is heavy, but his gaze is calm.
Ended. The Sith have been.
The silence that follows is vast, a silence filled with relief and mourning. The dawn stretches across Coruscant, golden and warm. The prophecy has been fulfilled. Balance has been restored. The Force is at peace. Bail Organa is made Chancellor, and an emotionally healed and mature Anakin is offered a seat on the Jedi High Council. Knowing better, he announces his resignation from the Order and lives the rest of his days with Padme and their soon-to-be-born children on Naboo. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you'd like to join us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.